Augustana College, 2016 graduates, where you at? I'm sorry I can't be there. I'm coming to you live from 1973 at the Houston Astrodome, where we are doing the Battle of the Sexes, which is the famous tennis match of Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs. But I remember when I graduated from Pepperdine, this is like 150 years ago, and I remember one of my friend's dads came up to me. This is a guy that I didn't love. This is a guy that hadn't seen his son in like 8 months, and when we walked through the door, instead of giving his son a hug, he gave him a handshake. He was that kind of guy. And he came up at graduation and he said, well, congratulations on finishing the best 4 years of your life. And I said, well, no, not for me, because I plan on going out there and killing it. And he did this little condescending laugh and this smile, and he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, yeah, I thought the same thing, and then reality set in. And normally this is where a person would walk away. But if you ever met Paul Olsen or Jeannie Olsen, you know they taught us to question authority, which sometimes gets you handcuffed at 2 o'clock in the morning on top of a parking garage, but that's a story for another time when my mom isn't listening. So in this situation, I said, no, sir, I do not believe that, because I feel like there is a fundamental difference on how we live our lives. And that is that I make choices based on hope, and you, sir, make choices based on fear. And it was like a bomb went off, and everybody around us got really quiet, and it was awkward. But instead of escalating the fight, he just took this really sad, introspective moment, and he finally said, you're probably right, and he walked away. And I think about that all the time. And not to oversimplify a philosophy to make it fit into a 3-minute introduction to a commencement speech, but life really is a series of Robert Frost poems about 2 roads diverging in the woods. And if you look down each one of those roads as far as you can, you usually find out that one of those choices is really based on fear and self-preservation. One of those choices is based on hope and the possibility of success and imagination. And I think about all the people I value in my life and all the journeys that they've made and the choices that I've made to find the success, the little success that I've found. And I always see that those people continuously make choices based on hope. And it doesn't mean you're going to be successful immediately, because I failed 1,000 times before I found success. In every success story, you see the same thing, failure upon failure. And that's where Winston Churchill comes in, where he says that the definition of success is being able to go from failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm. But that's what I mean. If you look at the people that you love and respect and their journeys, when the road diverged in the wood for them, the choices they made were based on hope and on the possibility of success and about imagination. So here's what I do. I offer you this. Augustana A, yeah? Huh? That thing costs you like $240,000. And you take this, and a huge congratulations to an amazing accomplishment that you guys are about to embark on the beginning of an unbelievable journey. And I guarantee you're going to find some giant failures in there. But if you continue to make choices based on hope, I guarantee at some point you're going to find success. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you to, well, Dr. Joe is going to introduce you to one of my favorite people on the planet, the smartest man that I know, and one of the greatest human beings that I've ever had a chance to spend my whole life with. This is Paul Victor Olsen, and this is his son, Eric Olsen, signing off from 1973, Houston Astrodome, making choices based on hope. Augustana, congratulations, you guys. This is just the beginning.
That young man lives as he talks. After 1 year in college, loving his pre-med studies, by the way, he wanted to give acting a chance. Most friends and a lot of our relatives encouraged him to stay in school, but no. And soon I was driving him to Los Angeles in our 1985 Chevy Nova, looking at colleges with him for a couple days, and then leaving him and the Chevy at the LA airport. I flew off for home. He had made a decision based on hope. He seemed unafraid of the uncertainty, of the risk. Someone asked him, what if you fail? He would answer, what if I succeed? I know that I'm second string. I'm the sub, And speaking in this large auditorium, I'm reminded of the speaker who, when the amplifier went out after the first half of his speech, asked if people in the back of the room could hear him. A woman shouted out back that she could not. A guy in the front row said, "I can hear just fine, and I'd be happy to change places with you." That's how I feel right now. But everyone's first choice guy suggested to this sub, me, that I should show you how he really is so you'll feel less cheated. So here is Eric Christian Olsen as he was in Dumb and Dumberer, that film that many of you saw and your parents didn't. Now you know why the parents didn't. I know that the first thing Eric would want, and so do I, is that you clap for yourselves. And I'm speaking to the senior class. That you clap for yourselves because you have finished a significant accomplishment. So please, right now, clap for yourselves, and I will tell you why in the next few minutes. You guys clap. Just to keep it going, yeah. That was pretty good. 5 years ago, the Augie men's track team was in the conference race of the decade for the title. And it came down to the last event, the mile relay. That's 4 men each running a quarter mile, which we had to win. Things looked good when our leadoff leg came in with a 15-meter lead, and the second man improved that to 20. But then at the exchange between 2 and 3, there was a misstep, and the baton went flying off the track 20 feet onto the infield grass. Suddenly, we were in third. Without a watch tick's hesitation, our third man scrambled off the track, picked up the baton, returned to the track, and began the chase, no longer 20 meters in the lead, but behind an insurmountable 30 meters. But for some reason, insurmountable didn't enter his mind. He made up 20 of those meters and handed off to number 4, now only 10 behind. Now it's best against best for what is called the anchor leg, and 10 meters is still a long ways to go. But a long stride, a lean at the finish tape, and a degree in English, I think, and a personal lifetime faster than anything he had ever run, it put Augie ahead at the finish. We added a new saying, a new maxim for our bulletin board that day. What do you do when you drop the baton? Pick it up and win. I would suggest that there had to be something overpowering and deep within for that third man to have no hesitation to pick up the baton, and for the anchor leg to think he could catch someone with a 10-meter lead. This was more than a decision. There had to exist some kind of vision of the possible that transcended the immediate reality, which appeared to be failure. I don't think that these 2 men made conscious decisions, really. Instead, they had an intuitive response coming out of how they saw possibility. They had to live really in a different reality, a reality beyond choice, a reality imagined in a different context than a fear that says, "Oh no, I can't catch him now." They had a different vision of racing that says, "I can, not I can't." Now, the odds were against them, but their reality obliterated fear and saw possibility. This hope for a world of possibility goes far beyond a race on the track. I was in South Africa in 1990 and heard a sermon delivered by Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who all his life had been living in the segregated world called apartheid, one of the most oppressive and unjust societies in the world. South Africans pronounce it apart-hate. He spoke to his people, those workers for peace and reconciliation, saying, "You should not be tempted to give up on your crucial work because of the frustrations of seemingly not making any significant progress." He wouldn't let them give up because he believed They were part of a new spirit that could see a new reality that was beyond the impossible. South Africa still has tremendous problems, but the hope-filled and imaginative Truth and Reconciliation program led by Archbishop Tutu and President Nelson Mandela was by all counts a miracle. The well-known episode of the arrest of Rosa Parks when she refused to surrender her front seat on the bus tells another story. After being asked to move, she first says to the white officer, "I don't think I should have to," and then follows that with a piercing question, "Why? Why do you treat us so mean?" His reply is, "I don't know, ma'am, but it's the law." Let me repeat that. I don't know, but it's the law. There's no racial slur, no anger or even annoyance in his voice. He just can't imagine a different reality. He would have to break the law to let Rosa Parks stay in her seat. And that's a reality beyond anything he can imagine. I like the words of the poet-priest Anthony Padavano, who addresses the challenge of thinking about the possible when we're up against what seems impossible to overcome. One must forsake the firm assurance of the earth, he writes, and wander where the footing will not be certain. These are the moments one must proceed without perfect clarity, moments lived without compass or staff, with no complete certitude, no total assurance, but only one's own dreams pitted against what seems to have been reality for so long a time that people have ceased to challenge it. We have on the front of our track t-shirts the words Augustana Track and Field beneath sketches of all the events in the sport. And the back of the shirt reads, "A celebration of life." So it's Augustana Track and Field, a celebration of life. Get this, the celebration is for what they get to do, not for what they have achieved. Those athletes are with their friends. They love the rigorous effort. They are intensely passionate about what they do. And all that is beyond times and distances and heights and victories. So what these athletes have chosen to celebrate is beyond those times, distances, and heights, and they actually live, I think, in a different reality than just how fast, how high, how far. That kind of celebration is not concrete, not measurable. It's beyond first or second place or school records or national qualifying. They're simply the passion and the beauty of the present. Listen to this poem, this Robert Frost poem, that is in many ways, I think, about the present moment that counteracts any reason to be fearful. I'm going out to clean the pasture spring. I'll only stop to rake the leaves away and wait to watch the water clear, I may. I shan't be gone long. You come too. I'm going out to fetch the little calf that's standing by the mother. It's so young it totters when she licks it with her tongue. I shan't be gone long. You come too. The speaker does not ask us to join him on a shopping trip or to reconcile a credit card or to help pick out the best used car, things concrete and practical. He wants to share and celebrate the miracles of nature and creation. Watch the water clear. See the miracle of the newborn calf. None of that is practical, but it is the most important. It is necessary, and it's this that he wants to share. Those do celebration beyond physical necessities of life, of measurable achievements. As the New Testament tells us, we do not live by bread alone. We live in a new reality when we study and learn and are not afraid of the grade. Maybe that's why we sing in the shower. No one is judging. No one is grading. Perhaps we are most alive when there's no fear of judgment or of what they will think or of failure. or we are most alive, especially when we are conscious of the risks and yet transcend the fear. Be not afraid is not just a piece of good advice, it's a way of life. I would like to share a story that illustrates what I mean. A man is walking along the edge of a cliff, and to his right it drops down 500 feet into a pristine valley, river flowing through, and on his left are snow-capped mountains. It's a spectacular sight, and he is so absorbed in this scenic beauty that he stumbles and falls off the cliff. Plummeting toward the bottom, he catches a branch that stops his descent, but he still is in a predicament. So he cries out, "Help, help, can anybody help me?" And a voice thunders from the sky, "I can help you." "Who are you?" "I am God," comes the reply. "What do I have to do?" the man asks. The voice thunders, "Let go." "Is there anybody else up there?" Well, our man on the branch can exist, but it's not much of a life, is it? He could let go and live in ways unimaginable to him. But to him, the present reality is all there is. This is his security branch. Students who have been to my office know that on my office door I have a poster picture of Steve Prefontaine, the greatest Oregon distance runner who in the 1970s was the best in American history and probably would have been the best ever in the world had not a car accident ended his life at 26. The picture shows him racing in the university stadium packed with thousands of fans, electrified by his graceful motion and more, inspired by his aggressive courage. While other Olympic runners often sat back and saved energy for the last laps, Pre, as he was known, would fearlessly lead early, challenging his competitors to save nothing for the last laps. Well, at the bottom of the poster is an interview quote that embodied his character. To give anything but your best is to sacrifice the gift. Whether you realize it or not, graduating seniors, you have tried to give your best. On literature tests, in the spring musical, in your SI presentations, go way back as a first-year student for an LSFY essay, in class discussion, in the choir, with the band, on the track. If right now I were talking to our track team after a workout hard enough that to even finish is an achievement in the best category, I would say to them, give yourselves a hand for what you just did. They had defeated doubt. All of them realized a significant accomplishment. Many of them had proved that what they thought was impossible isn't. They have literally found a new reality. After these workouts, we gather together to say just a couple words about how tough it was, what they learned about themselves, and then we clap our hands. It affirms the significance of what they have just accomplished. And all this is why I asked you earlier to clap for yourselves. Each of you here today has gone through lots of hard workouts, too. Different, of course, from those runners, but nevertheless hard. Each of you has, one way or another, chosen to work hard with hope, not assurance, of success. I know that one of you has chosen with hope, not fear, to join the Peace Corps and move to Africa. I know some of you who have chosen job offers far away from home with hope, not fear, that you'll find new friends, succeed at the job, find meaning in your work. I know that some of you are headed for grad school, hoping that you will increase your knowledge and deepen your passion. I know all of you have let go of lots of little and sometimes big branches of security. And now you are here with hope. And often by transcending fear, you accomplished all of what it took to get here. And you deserve applause. It's meaningful to clap for yourselves. You clapped because you are changed. Much of your work has been your best. You have picked up the drop baton, and when you need to pick up another drop baton, you won't even think about it. You'll just pick it up and win. Because you hope, because you can imagine a new reality, and because you are not afraid. God bless you, everyone.